Hello, hi. Ah, Sorry, um, I'm making myself laugh. Hi, how are you doing? How's it going? How you feeling today? I hope it is. I hope you've had an amazing day, or you're having an amazing day, or you're having an amazing evening, depending on when you're listening to this. Or maybe you did not have that great of a day. Maybe it was a meh day. Maybe it wasn't a good day. Um, I know that one thing I know is that God can turn your mourning into dancing. And so keep your head up. God is on your side. And whatever the season is, He'll see you through it. And He will usher you into a season of joy and laughter. Yeah. Today, we want to talk about the arson of friendships. I told myself, or I said in 2020, I'm not mistaken, August 19th. I think that was the second episode. I talked about friendship. I think it was the friendship theory. And I said I was going to do a sequel. I did do a sequel a couple weeks ago, if my memory serves. And I was talking about friendship and its bridges. And we had a conversation about if you should burn bridges or leave bridges in case you want to reconnect with that friend and whatnot. Today I want to talk about the arson of friendship. The arson of friendship. And we're going to talk about there are a few talking points for me. There's number one, the one thing I want to address is one of the things I want to address is number one, isolation. Number two, competition. Number three, a superiority complex. And the fourth thing is a consumer centric approach. Okay. The first thing, isolation. I have an episode. There's an episode I titled Act 1. I think I'm a hermit. And I think the preamble, I talked about, I was basically given an update of my life, on my life. That was last year. I did that episode last year. I was given an update based on the break I took and how I was coming back from the break and everything. One of the things for me, for some reason, I was taking it upon myself like, oh, this is who I am. I'm a hermit. That I like to live in isolation. Whew. I quickly understood. Yeah. God, first of all, God doesn't call us to be in isolation. It was God in Genesis who looked at Adam and said, it is not good for man to be alone. God, creator of heaven and earth, saw it wasn't good. Adam wasn't complaining. Adam was thriving, was chilling, was enjoying the Garden of Eden. God said, it is not good for man to be alone. And if God can say that, what's to stop us from accepting it? Or that's not the way I wanted to put it. What makes us think that it will be different, or we have the right to say that we can do things on our own? Nah, we cannot. Human beings were not created to exist in a vacuum or exist in isolation. We are created to form communities. If you think about it, long enough, you see that I'm right. Even the folks that are inaccessible, say the guys on North Sentinel Island, the island that is inhabited by a local tribe, they don't want any outside contact. Those guys still have communities. I mean, not civilized, still a community. The tribes in the Amazon, tribes deep in some forest and rainforests, the reason why they are thriving is because they are in community. Nothing thrives in isolation. Maybe science will prove me wrong, but I'll stand on it till I'm proven wrong. Nothing thrives in isolation. And so if you think, or if we think, or just like me when I thought, there's, I mean, I can do it, because I think sometimes it can be a defense mechanism. I want to empathize a little bit. I think it can be a defense mechanism because some people have been so used to putting themselves out there and not receiving or reaping the same energy, and so they've decided, okay, I'm giving 100 and everybody's giving me 50. I'm not coming outside. I'm not even gonna give 50. I'm gonna give 0. I'm not giving nothing. I'm not doing anything anymore. I'm just going to stay inside my house. I'm going to press my phone. As long as I have data, I have lights, I have food, I'm good. People say that. Sometimes it's, and I completely empathize with you. However, I want you to understand that if you're going to make anything of repute, you need people. And this is not even saying people physically. I mean, I can make a case for physical interactions and having a physical community. But you quickly understand that if you say you don't want a physical community, if you start making something, you're going to have a virtual community. So you're going to need people. I mean, there's going to be a forerunner, or should I call it a figurehead? There's going to be a rep, the face of the business or the face of the company. It doesn't mean that that's the person that is spearheading everything. There are people that are working behind the scenes. That person is just the face. Also, I think, now I'm not empathizing anymore. I think that people who want to, either intentionally or people who do it unintentionally, people who put themselves in solitary confinement, on a personal solitary confinement, do so out of fear. And that fear usually leads to competition. That's my second point. To competition. Now, these people want to, how do I put this now? These people want to be the best. And I feel almost, I don't want to throw myself under the bus here, but hey, it's me. I'm the one diving under the bus. Anything you take out of this, God help. God help you and God help me. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about myself. I'm going to use myself as a case study. I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to be, what's the word? What's the word again? Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the word. I don't want to be vague. Yes, that's the word. So I'm instead of painting a hypothetical story, I'm just going to use myself. So, first of all, I grew up in a very big house. I had relatives coming in and out every other day, so a lot of people were at home. Almost by default, I had to restrict myself. I had to, you know how the Bible says, and Jesus withdrew himself for a while to go and pray. I didn't pray, but I didn't pray. I was a baby, but I withdrew myself because I wanted to have something I could call my own. I wanted to have my own space, and it was good. It was good at the time for me. The only time I wanted to share, or I had to share my things or share my thoughts, I wanted to share most likely in school or when other people were around. And some way, somehow, because I was this kid, if everybody's making noise, jumping around, I could just withdraw myself to one corner of our room and read. And then I come outside and I bamboozle everybody with facts and general knowledge stuff that I picked up, and now everybody's so fascinated. Oh my goodness, this 9-year-old kid knows so much. Ah, look at you with your big head. This big head is not empty. There's so much wisdom and knowledge inside. You know, slowly a tendency for competition instead of collaboration crept in. And if you think about it, if you think about it long and hard enough, you will know that it is almost the way we're wired in Nigerian schools. There was no room for collaboration. Collab as how? Collab so that somebody will carry first instead of you. So, first of all, I was very isolatory. I like to do my things alone. But because school is a very social place, there is even a subject called social studies. They literally want to press socialization down your throat. Want to force it down, you must be social by force. Anyway, because school is school is such a social place, you're almost an extrovert by default. I mean, I didn't even know what introvert or extrovert was until maybe I was 16. I didn't know any of those. I didn't really care for it. The only thing I knew was choleric, sanguine, melancholy, and phlegmatic. I thought those were the only things that existed in the world. Anyway, slowly, a desire to be more competitive. Now, I'm not saying that if you're competitive, you should drop your competitive edge. I still believe I am competitive. I don't want to beat around the bush. I am still competitive. I hate losing to anybody. If I'm losing, you most likely can tell on my face. If I'm playing a game with my little brothers and I'm losing, I don't care. They can, I mean, on paper they have a better team than me, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm like, hey, you have a better team. I'm supposed to beat you. So I'm that competitive. I absolutely hate losing. I hate it in my life. If I lose and I have an opportunity to play again, throughout that time, I will not be quiet until I win. I will not be vocal until I win. I hate losing. It's a good thing when you are playing a competition where there has to be a winner. What you will understand is that in life, of course, there are winners and there are losers in life. But to a very large extent, life is a collaborative effort. Life is a collaborative effort. And so what they did not teach us growing up is how to value friendships. We always saw someone who was getting close to us as someone who was trying to one up us. Or if we saw somebody dwindling or their focus shifting in some way, you and this person, you guys are not really chatty. All of a sudden you guys become chatty and the person is opening up that, oh, I don't really feel like reading some days. You're not compelled to encourage the person to read. You just say, I understand, it happens to me too. It's not empathy. It's cruelty and a deceptive competition that is disguised as empathy. And all you are hoping for is that person doesn't pick up the zeal or the courage to study for the exam again so that you can one up the person. And that's why we have silly, strange quotes about when somebody, I'm no longer on your level, when I move to the next level, I dump you. You know, it's a very silly thing. It's a very silly thing. It's why when I look at the folks in the West and I see somebody with a childhood friend, I feel bad sometimes. I want to cry because I don't have childhood friends in the sense of the word. I mean, I'm very, very, if you've listened to any episode I've done on friendship, I'm very, very particular about who I call my friend. I don't like throwing the word friend around. Because I have your number, because we have each other's contacts, does not make you my friend. If we could have done business together, if it's not business, we went to school together, fine. You have my contacts, that's cool. It doesn't make us friends. And so subconsciously, maybe even consciously, we've built a culture of killing friendships, of setting fire to what could have been blooming relationships. I mean, think about the person that was your friend in secondary school. You guys used to do stuff together, read together, and everything. You guys graduated. Instead of keeping in close contact, you don't keep in close contact. And now maybe you're in the university or you're done with the university. You've decided to follow Jesus. Oh, I'm a Jesus boy now. And then maybe on your class group, somebody says, I remember this guy. I know I'm blow, now big boy. Oh. You get the person's number. You're seeing the person, driving a flashy car, because I mean that's almost like the sign of wealth. Flashy cars and stuff, and flashy lifestyle, bling blings and everything. I say, oh, this is pretty cool. This person is doing well for themselves. And then you say, oh, what's in this person they do? You don't know. Look at him well now, G boy. You're like, no, now this guy I know you never do such a. He can never do such a thing. And then after your investigation, maybe you even text this person, ask. There are allusions to the fact that this person might be a cyber fraudster. And now you're thinking in your mind, how do I present the gospel to them in a way or something like that? How did I get to this place? The reason why somebody who you thought would never do something is doing something is because they think they're in competition with the next person. How go come school reunion? Everybody go they drive car, me I go they enter Uber. I don't know, man. And then after competition comes the next thing, and the next two things, in fact, which is superiority complex and the consumer-centric approach to friendships. The superiority complex is opposite of inferiority complex. There are people who inferiority complex goes hand in hand with something maybe like imposter syndrome. Say, oh, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think for where I am, I don't think I'm good enough. I'm worth the attention and everything I'm getting. Inferiority complex is more or less low self-esteem, very lackluster. You drop your shoulders, you know, just now you're walking your demeanor, everything about you is just down. No confidence, no ginger, nothing. The complete opposite is superiority complex. So because you've built this life of constantly trying to one up somebody, you're not seeing people are no longer on your level. The Bible that said, he that is down needs fear no fall. He that is low, no pride. Wise words from the book of Proverbs. So when you're on the ground, you're not afraid that you will fall. Your shoulder will be down. Your shoulder won't be up. But for some reason, because you're constantly climbing, and I don't blame people who do that. But I don't want to absolve anyone, even myself, of owning responsibility, of taking responsibility for their actions. What do you mean? Because when I think about this, I think about, for example, the idea I've had, and maybe some people have, once I deal like this now, I just arrange my money, just me left, me right. If you don't understand, please forgive me. Once I've arranged myself and I migrate to another country with better opportunities, lose my number, I will lose people's number. Anybody that I used to talk to before, they are no longer on my level, I lose their number. What makes you think, or what makes us think that because someone is in Nigeria, and for some reason you've gotten enough money to migrate and obtain an immigrant status or a citizenship status in another country, that you're better off than the next person? It's the reason why we have, as a culture, we've made strange people into celebrities. We've made strange people celebrities. Now, because of this celebrity status, you think that you no longer breathe the same air. Maybe the color of your poo-poo is white, or you know even if to poo-poo. While all of us we are what, barbarians. Some people might not even be quote unquote influencers, might not be social media personalities, but because of some affluence that they've stepped into, either by hook or crook, they feel look at you that is trekking. Who's your father? You know who my father is? Who's your father? I will pay your school fees 10 times. You see silly displays. Somebody is talking, the next person brings out a wad of cash and throws it at the person. What is he supposed to do? And so I'm going to the effect. When we come back to the cause, we see that the cause started from this idea, this debilitating, deceptive, even downright demonic idea that we should cut people off once we've won up them. It's a superiority complex, and it is devilish. What's worse is even consumer centric. Okay, you're not in isolation, fine. You're not in competition, okay. You don't even have a superiority complex. Let's say you have a consumer centric approach. Me. How can this serve me? I'm telling you this from experience, because I've been there, I've done it, been there, done that. I check someone's number, I say, this person is not adding any value to my life, they're not giving me anything, they're not bringing business, what am I using them to do? Out, I delete. I don't have time to be keeping people's contact. Chief, if, for example, you're saving contacts to your Google account and you need to clear contacts, you don't need to take a screenshot and say clearing unimportant contacts, or you don't need you don't need to do that. You don't need to say I'm following people that don't add any value to me. I mean you should do that if it's Instagram. You can't do that, but you don't need to tell us. Do it and get it over with. But this idea that they have to be doing something for you, bringing something to you, adding to, say, I'm all for value for value. But if somebody is not subtracting anything, they are not subtracting from your pocket, they're not subtracting from you financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, they are not subtracting from you. And it's not like they are stagnant, because stagnant waters breed insects. They are not stagnant, but they are just not moving at the same pace as you. It doesn't mean that they are inferior to you. Consumer-centric approach is it goes in tandem with a superiority complex. You think you're better than the next person. The person has to be adding to you. And I'm telling you this because that's the same thing I've done. I say, what are you adding to me? I don't get that. Is one of the reasons why I'm not quick to call. I don't want to defend my bad behavior. At the same time, I want to put a balance. It's one of the reasons I'm not quick to call people my friends. The reason why I call people my friend, or the reason why I'm very particular about it, is that once I become your friend, I'm not just thinking about what you add to me, I'm thinking about what I add to you. If there is no back or forth, if I've called you my friend and I'm not adding anything to you and you're not reciprocating it, there's no point in me having your number, for example. That is the way I saw it. So right now, I'm fine with us exchanging contacts. Maybe we're following each other on social media, or on IG, on Twitter, or something, or we have each other's phone numbers. That's cool. You don't even need to text me. I'm cool with that. As long as you don't add the tag friend, because I think It is a privilege for me to be someone's friend, as a privilege for someone to be my friend, because there's a responsibility. This person doesn't need to add to my pocket financially. Doesn't need to add. Doesn't really need to do add in the actual sense of the word. If this person, hey bro, how you doing? It's been a minute. Hope you're doing okay. I just wanted to check on you. Stay blessed. God bless. Bro, if I'm getting married, I'm inviting you to my wedding. You're my friend, right? I'm inviting you to my wedding. It doesn't even need to be, you don't even need to buy what I'm selling. I'm not saying you must listen to my podcast. You can support me by sharing. If that's all you do, I'm good. But what do I do for you as well? If I'm always thinking about what you do for me, what am I doing for you? Do you have a business? Am I trying to get people to patronize your business? What am I doing for you? There needs to be a reciprocation. So people have this, let me not just say people, we as a society have built this abusive, demonic idea of a consumer-centric approach. It has to be me. It's the reason why, even though I'm all for self-care, sometimes, thank goodness I'm not so popular, so nobody's gonna drag me for this. Maybe they drag me in the future. Who knows? Self-care sometimes is just selfishness. And hey, sometimes you have to be a little bit selfish. If you've been a people pleaser all your life, you've spent all your time caring for other people, caring about what other people think, sometimes you've got to be selfish. But if you're not all those things, people have just been doing for you. It's always you. You're the center. You're the judgery executioner, the author and finisher of everything. It's just you. Sometimes your self-care is just selfishness in disguise. So I'll say this before this runs on for too long. We need to change our idea of what friendship is at the fundamental. Not everybody you exchange contact with is your friend. And if that is your yardstick for friendship, then maybe you shouldn't be so quick to give out your contact information. And some people do that. Some people don't even give out your Instagram or anything. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. So we need to redefine what our friendships are. That's one. Another thing is we need to disabuse this idea that once we one up someone or we climb up the social ladder, we're automatically better than the person that is just beneath us. Because pride goes before a fall. And the sooner we disabuse this idea, this I'm looking for a gigantic word, but this ridiculous idea, the sooner we disabuse it from our minds, the better for the generation that comes after us. Because if we don't, we're going to be passing down a ridiculous, hedonistic, that's a good word, demonic power idea, and it's going to continue this vicious cycle. And that's not what I want, and I hope that that's not what you want as well. So thank you for listening. This is where I'll end my discourse. All of the links are below for you to follow, for you to send us a message, for you to support us if you want to, and I hope you do. Thank you for listening. Share this episode with someone you think would learn something from it. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace and blessings. Keep this switch and illuminate. Udabo.